Alright folks, I'm back to do a little bit more Space Bucks action. And so far you can see, well, we're not quite in the lead. We're not behind by much, but we'll make up a little bit of it right here, I'm sure. So, let's zoom in and see what we've got to work with. There we go. Let's see, we've got our planets lined up. Oh, a little jumpy there. So our next targets kind of look like this. We can come over here, and this is kind of the way I'm leaning, and we can grab Poodle, Tysica, and Eltanin. And those three are pretty good high development level planets already. Decent. The other strategy, of course, is to come over here and we can grab these four. They'll be relatively quick, relatively painless, but low profit because, again, most of them don't really have too much in the way of trade goods to ship out to other people. So, for right now, nothing going there. Well, again, we could go that way, and in fact, we probably will at some point. But for right now, I think the best bet's going to go after Poodle. Remember, if they demand people, you can always provide people, because pretty much every planet has people. Alright, so we'll get that underway. Now, something I probably should have remembered to do at the very beginning, it's not something I realized until late the other night. The bank not only just handles your loan status, it handles savings too. And savings is a good idea. It's primarily right off the bat sort of situation. Had I dumped, you know, 3, maybe 400,000 of my 500,000 from the beginning into the savings, that money would have been working for me and creating profit for doing little to nothing. Now, that's not huge profit or anything, but that's money in the bank gathering profit, that's gathering interest, that's not really costing me anything to do. I mean, literally clicking some buttons. So it probably would have been better, and in fact, I think that's the way the computer starts out. It is very apt to throw its money into the bank real quick. Because this game boils down to how can you wring money out of the system? How can you get? It's almost like building a Walmart. How easy can you get the prices down, the profits up, getting things as best as you can get them early on, as far as profit goes, and then kind of ironing out the problems as you get some cash raking in. All right, so I got Poodle. I'm gonna need another ship because we don't have another ship sitting around. And of course, my good old buddy, the Sparrow. Sparrow number 2. Junkman also. I pretty much always call those things Junkmans, and I probably will for the rest of the LP here. So Junkman also needs to get its butt over here to Ampere. And we need to start making a bid on Tysica. Rent's going to be a little bit more expensive here, but nothing we can't handle. And food, well, Poodle's got food, so we're alright there. Alright, for now, let us make Poodle and Nunki the current route. Why we don't pick Ampere? Well, the route distance does affect the amount of profit you make on an object. So routes that have a longer distance to them are going to net you more profit for each trip. So whereas that route from Ampere to Poodle is very short, it's also going to net you less profit between each back and forth. So I might as well up the distance a little bit, which will, you know, cut into the amount of trips we can make, but profit more off each trip. So for now, those 2 planets are all we're going to have in our route. And in fact, you know what I should have done? Now that I just saw those two ships going to the same planet at the same time, I'm going to have the ship wait at Nunki. That way, it doesn't take off half full from Nunki, because Nunki's only a progress level 2, or, you know, development level 2. So we don't want to put too much pressure on it. And it's hanging out waiting at Nunki still. There we go. Bam. And back and forth we go. We'll get Taisuke here shortly. Bam. Alright, and then we'll add... Bam, I guess I'm some kind of chef on some sort of food network. What? Oh. I guess we're going to go back to Poodle anyway for this current route. So we'll just do it that way. So now we're going to go from, okay, Nunki to Poodle. It's already set. So now Poodle to Taisuke is going to be 3 food. We got no fuel. So let's give them people. Unless the people are fuel. But no, they're not. They're not currently fuel. Now, when you're building up routes like this and going through objects, the best thing you want to look for is what you can put there in the future. And this particular route right here, Taisuke to Poodle, they have ore sitting right here. And Poodle just so happens to want toxic waste. Well, when you build any of these metal or chemical resources at a factory on that particular planet, they put out the metal and they also produce a amount of toxic waste. The toxic waste kind of varies per planet and the development level of said planet. So the higher that development level, the less toxic waste you're going to have. But when you can actually sell off said toxic waste is good. So what you can kind of do is have storehouses just waiting for the toxic waste to build up, and then you can switch in routes to ship toxic waste from Taisuke the Poodle. That is, once we develop a metal resource to trade, which we will shortly do. There's no good reason to wait on them too long, but you want to make sure that you're kicking in a decent amount of profits before you start investing into. Oh. Well, we're going to fix the ship, because there's no reason not to. We're just cutting the profits. But you can see that our routes are making some cash. That was a pretty decent leg right there. Very profitable for 6K. You know what? Let's hit this L-tannin while we're waiting. And while that might cut us down to a little bit under 6K, well, no, we'll have profits by the time that's done. It's going to take a while. In fact, we should have plenty of money to keep ourselves above 100K by the time the deal is actually done with. So long as your profits are kicking along at a decent clip, you can kind of see we're profiting enough that this purchase isn't going to hurt us too bad. L-tannin, there we go. So you see we're still above 100K, which, I mean, it's not a big, there's not some significant deal behind that, but keeping ourselves above 100K is at least a good padded level for what we need to get done. Okay, and then back to Taisuke, and that'll be our... it keeps us able to still purchase things when we have 100K. Later on, of course, things will get more expensive, or the ships and the engines will definitely get more expensive, so... We've got that. So, L-tannin out to Taisuke. Now, that's the only bad part about this particular run here. We're getting fuel instead of not really getting a large profitable object out of that. So Altanin might also be a good place to put a chemical plant of some sort. And that way we can pump chemical production out to Tysica, which will give us a decent profit. The 650 as opposed to toxic waste is 760. Metal is 600. For some reason, I believe chemical production is actually cheaper than metal storage. I think it might be that it takes more resources though. But Tysica to Poodle. Oops. That one we do need to fix because that's going to be more profitable. No, come on, come on. Misclicking kind of slows you down just a wee bit because there's a little bit of a hiccup between when you click something into place and when it actually goes. So, all right. Junkman is now moving along. Oh, took a bit of a hit there. I'm gonna keep an eye on that real quick, and then we will move on from there. Looks like it's pretty profitable, especially that particular leg of it. We're still lagging behind everybody in revenue, but we're gonna catch up. It must have been a one-time thing. There's kind of a little bit of a hiccup there. Not sure why we didn't get a decent profit out of it, but you know what? Who's got time to worry about it? We're making profits. All right, so Blue's buying up some planets. I'll tell you that much. I've got a decent chunk of planets right there. Anyway, let's see. Now remember, some of our other planets did go up in production level or development level recently, so you might want to change some of these routes around a little bit and make sure you get the profits out of them that you possibly can. Jumpman also, yeah, Nunki the Minotaur is hurting us a bit. Somehow we're not getting. Alright, so somehow we're not getting any Nunki the Minotaur. Nunki to Minotaur. Alright, so remember to keep an eye on when planets bump up in development level because they will produce more goods and you'll need to come and change that. That'll probably be one of the biggest gripes about this game, and my only real complaint about it is that there's a lot of micromanagement. The game doesn't take care of that sort of thing for you. The development levels are static. They're going to go up. You'll also see here that I'm shipping fuel for some reason. There's no real reason to carry fuel around because, well, these guys don't demand it. They're not going to pay for it. So let's scratch these fuels. No reason to carry them. Here, yes. Other places, no. And when places don't demand fuels, like you're sending Nunki to Minotaur, they both have fuel. Those might also be planets you want to consider for chemical, because you're not gonna have any use for that fuel. So why not convert it into something you can actually sell? All right, then looks good. Let's do that. Alright, so we'll let it run for a little bit. Should we go for Urnian? Well, we're making some decent cash. You know what? Let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we can go back to. Hey, Poodle went up a development level. That's pretty good. You know what? Let's make a shot at. Oh, ore. No ore there. We've got ore at Tysica. We've got ore at Becquerel? We do. How far is Becquerel from Urnian? 3-1? We can make it 3-1. Alright, so let's go ahead and add Urnian to our conquests. We will have to buy them a restaurant, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, these guys will probably pay off to have our reservoir, our
This new laser
portfolio.
cannon projects a strong beam of light or chemical laser that can defeat an enemy's
Hey,
defenses by overloading
lasers.
his defensive grid's power couplings. This weapon's power may be low, but it can hit targets at a great range.
Alright, so we're going to close out here and looking at our overall picture. Not a bad haul. We've got 3 planets and one more coming into our grasp here shortly. Like I said, I think the next move is going to be to come down here and grab these ones off this corner. And then, I don't know if I can reach these particular ones just yet. I don't think our technology is enough to let us bridge that kind of gap just yet. So, I might still develop out this way. These are all pretty close, so we can probably get a lot of these at our current level even. We'll develop our strategy. So until next time, folks, have a good one.